Hey everyone, Simon here with a recap of Super Bowl LV or Super Bowl 55 or the superb owl whose initials are LV. However you want to put it, the superb owl was punctuated by Tom Brady winning his 7th Super Bowl. And a week before the game, I gave you my prediction, which was that most likely Tampa Bay, that the underdog would cover, and that most likely it would be an under game, that the score would be low. So I actually went ahead and took action based on that prediction. So you can see here, I bet the Buccaneers would actually win the game. I just bet a little bit. These bets are not to make a lot of money. We're making money in a different way using cryptocurrency these days, using astrology, using sacred sounds, and learning how to create a portfolio based on you for your chart, your horoscope, and your lucky times and sounds as well. I think that's far more interesting and profitable probably in this age than sports. So this is like a little side thing that is mainly to illustrate the power that Vedic astrology can have in predicting mundane events. And when I'm wrong, I'm also open to being wrong. And the videos that I've made of wrong predictions are still on YouTube, so you can still watch those. And then I make a follow up on those as well. So and explain why I got it wrong, or maybe learn from how I get it wrong. Because in fact, getting it wrong is actually the best teacher often. And I did a lot of research. I spent a lot of money researching the book Gambler's Dharma to come up with those really tried and true techniques in there. Look at these guys. Got little cats running around. All right, they want me to talk about the meat and potatoes here. So the meat and potatoes are, we bet on Tampa to win, bet on Tampa to cover, which was my suggestion in the video. Bet on Tampa to cover again. And then I did something you can do called a parlay, where I bet on the under and that Tampa would cover. And then I bet on the under and that Tampa would win. And so all of those were winning tickets. You can see here, not a huge payout, but I didn't bet a lot. And the point being that astrology can sometimes be very accurate. Now, the problem with predicting mundane events is the timing. So I'm going to start with the Western chart and kind of walk you through what happened. And so this is the chart for 6:30 p.m. in Tampa. But as we all know, the game actually didn't start till 6:38 p.m. And so the thing that the favorite had going for them was that the ruler of the ascendant, Leo, okay, was on the seventh cusp. But let's go to 6:30. The sun at 19.5 was still 4 degrees away from the seventh cusp. And I mentioned in the video, please watch that prediction video if you haven't seen it, because I'm not going to go into the mechanics of this right now in too much detail. But the point was that even here, it was a tenuous connection where the favorite had some strength. But if you take it out 8 minutes later, now the sun is still at 19, but the seventh cusp is at 25. Forget about it. They have no influence whatsoever. So I thought the game would be closer because I set the game chart for 6:33, and the sun was still potentially had some influence. By 6:38, forget about it. Okay, and if we look at the Vedic astrology chart, we get an even more interesting picture. And kudos to Intellectual Wanderer, who sent me a private email and said, hey, favorite doesn't have a chance. They're going to lose. And I asked, why? How did you arrive at your prediction? And he mentioned a principle called Sandhi. Sharing it here with you. Sandhi means the end of a water sign and the beginning of a fire sign. There are 3 Sandhi points in the Vedic horoscope: between Cancer and Leo, between Scorpio and Sag, and between Pisces and Aries. And technically, Sandhi is a total of 3 degrees, 20 minutes on either side. But really, it's really Sandhi when it's 1 degree. And look at this ascendant. It's 29 degrees, 20 minutes, meaning it's 1 degree away from being into the next sign. And in fact, guess what happened? If we put on our little calendar tool here, 1 second. No, not that tool. Let's do our calendar tool. Not that tool. Hello. There it is. And if we go forward, 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes, and look, we've changed signs. So now, and if we go to the actual start time, which is 38, we're about 1 degree into Leo, still very much Sandhi. Sandhi, again, at a juncture. And a person who is Sandhi doesn't know if they want to walk or if they want to sit. They don't know if they want to pass the ball or run the ball. They're like bewildered. They're stuck between two signs, two ideas, two ideologies, two worlds. And those two worlds are opposite. So water sign and fire, water and fire are opposite. So that's why I say never predict when there's a Sandhi going on. I spend a whole chapter and a half on this in Gambler's Dharma. And I talk about when, don't bet on Sandhis, bet on Mondays. It's a joke. Hey, it's a joke. A pun, I should say, right? Not the day, Sunday, Sandhi. Sandhi means juncture. So don't bet on during junctures when there's an eclipse, for example. That's a juncture between sun and moon and the nodes. Don't bet on when a planet is stationary, massive juncture between a planet going forward and backwards. That it's like, when you walk and there are cracks in the road, just something in our brains wants to avoid those cracks and try not to step on them. And if you're, obsessive compulsive, then you definitely avoid the cracks. But there's something behind that because cracks are unstable. They represent unstable Earth. In the same way, we want to avoid cracks in time. And one of these was exactly at between 6:35, right around 6:30 to 6:40 p.m. And unfortunately, in Vedic astrology, it denotes the favorite team. And that's why I thought the favorite would not cover. That was a safe bet, the underdog to cover, and they certainly did. In fact, they blew out the favorite. And for additional reasons, based on the subcharts, I thought it would be a low-scoring game. So shout out to those of you in the chat who texted me and who said, made your own predictions. A lot of you got it right, and some of you got it wrong. But like I said earlier, when you get it wrong, use that as a way to help you improve your methods. There was an interview on CBS this morning, a really nice, kind interview. Everybody should watch it. Go to cbsnews.com/news/charting the rising signs for astrology. Cool interview. The journalist was very kind. Unfortunately, she picked people who weren't specialists at predicting sports. It's like when you go to your family doctor and you ask them about some eye disease, some arcane eye disease. What they should do is refer you to an ophthalmologist and say, look, I cover many things, but that's not my specialty. Unfortunately, what happens in astrology is you go to an astrologer and you think they should know everything. And sometimes they think they know everything. Unfortunately, it's not the case. If you come to me and ask me, hey, when is there going to be an earthquake? I'm going to refer you to somebody else, okay? Because that's not my specialty area of mundane astrology. So similarly, like medicine, like even law and other massive professions that have a huge umbrella, a huge portfolio of disciplines, astrology has its specializations. There are people who only do relationship astrology. So in this article, it's the kind of people who talk about your chakras and how you're a beautiful person. Oh, and I'm looking at this. So if you're asking somebody who's talking about your chakras, who's going to win the Super Bowl, you're asking the wrong person, okay? Because you should be asking someone who's very practical about world black and white events. Look, this team's going to win. It's going to be an over and under, or this team is going to overperform, underperform. You want specifics that you can take action on. Not like, well, I feel like, no, you feel like is good for emotional counseling. which is one area where astrology does great. Relationship counseling is another. So I have my own specializations. I do relationship stuff. I do sports astrology. We do cryptocurrency astrology. But I'm not great at predicting the weather, which some people can do, or predicting, you know, any number of other things in astrology. Those are their own specializations. So, in fairness to the astrologers in this article, no one is expected to know everything, but also they should know when they don't know, right? They were also asked, why didn't you predict the coronavirus? And they should just say, well, I don't know. That's not my specialization. I didn't predict the coronavirus, but James Kelleher did. A few other people did, because mundane astrology is their specialty. You get it? So I don't feel bad that I didn't predict some event in Sudan, because I don't look at the charts for that. I don't consider that. Now, if you ask me and I do the research, then I should be able to predict. But anyway, so that's another topic. So this is a cool article. And if you want to join our crypto group, if you want to learn more about astrology and how to use it to predict anything from sporting events to what's the right stock or crypto for you, shoot me an email. My website for all my classes is decodingvedicwisdom.com. And there you'll see all my classes on Sanskrit, Parashara, all levels of astrology. And if you're interested in the sports stuff, you have to email me privately. That's only by private invitation. That's not a public class. And yeah, and I think that's it. If you have any questions, put them in the chat below. And again, shout outs to everybody who got this right. And kudos to you all. And I hope this furthers your study in Vedic astrology. All right, everyone. We will see you in the next one. Namaste.